Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Humans in Accounting, where firm owners share their story behind the spreadsheets. As you know, I'm Alex Roman, and this podcast is brought to you by South Offices, connecting talent across borders. Today, I am really happy just to have as our guest Heidi Ryder, owner at Keepful. And in this episode, we'll be talking about lots of things, but I'm really interested in knowing a little bit more about Keepful. Heidi, it's so nice having you here. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Alex. It's so good to be on. Thanks for inviting me. It was really good to meet you recently at Scaling New Heights, too. That was pretty great.
It was great. We talked, when was it? Like over an year or exactly a year ago? Or
It was about a year
maybe
ago. Yeah.
it was about a year ago. Yeah, I remember we got this introduction through Jaime, I want to say. Through Jaime, we talked. We even Nicholas recorded an episode with and yeah, I'm happy that I was able just to meet you in person. As it's great that we did. I didn't ask you, or maybe I did. What did you think about? Have you tried the alfajores I gave you? Remember the
Yes. Yeah.
yes? Okay,
Yes.
you gave
It
me
was,
feedback.
I did. It was very good.
It,
It was
it,
very
uh,
interesting. It was a lot different than like when I just looked at it before I tried it. I
mhm.
don't know why, but I had an expectation of what it would be, and it was different, but it was really good.
That's again something for people that are not used to. Maybe the dulce de leche part, the thing that you have in the middle, that it's kind of like caramel. It might be maybe too sweet, but here all Argentinians, we're like that's something that we have. I don't know, every day, or our moms, they just get us that treat. So well, I'm glad.
It tasted like caramel, but it had almost a texture of peanut butter in a way, which was really interesting to me.
Yeah, I agree. I'll say that it tastes more like caramel, but the texture, I agree. It's more like peanut butter, but the taste, maybe it's more like caramel. Again, here you
Yeah.
go to the supermarket and you can find dulce de leche everywhere. But well, great, great that we met a few weeks ago in Orlando. And I'm happy that you're joining here in Humans in Accounting. As you know, on this podcast, basically what we do is everyone now is talking about AI. I want to talk more about the human part, and I'm excited that you joined today. Tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, what made you well now a little bit about your past, and now that you're the owner at Keepful, tell me what you have been doing. Let's go right from the start, if you can.
Well, sometimes I feel like my life is one of those, in like a movie where there's, they're trying to solve a crime or something, and they have the board out and they have all these pictures that seem unrelated, and then they like draw the strings between them all.
Yes,
That's
yes.
kind of how I feel like my life is. I feel like there's been a lot of disjointed things, and then all of a sudden God just draws some strings between them all, and it's like, oh, that makes sense.
But I think now that you put it in that way, I think that if you ask us all, somehow we all have that map that
Yeah.
is connected through its strings. So, but yeah, maybe next time on the next episode we do together, you can have an actual board and just point in each direction.
Yeah, so I went to college to be a math teacher because I wanted to make a difference. I love numbers and I love teaching. And so I went, got my degree, and I taught for 1 year in a middle school outside of Atlanta and decided that I hated it
Okay.
and found out I was pregnant. So I wanted to stay at home. I didn't want to have to drop my baby off at daycare, and we couldn't live off of just my husband's income. So I started researching ways to make money from home that I could do, with a baby. I came across Ben Robinson and the course Bookkeeper Launch and decided to, give it a try. I was like, this is right up my alley. I originally wanted to be an accountant before I decided that you couldn't really change the world as an accountant. So that's why I went to college to be a math teacher. So I was like, well, might as well give it a shot, right? Jumped in and my business took off like crazy. In June, I started my business, had a baby at that same time, and by Christmas that year, I had replaced my teacher salary.
Well,
So it took off like crazy. And then it was the next year, and Ben reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in being curriculum manager for his courses. He was wanting to redo some courses and add some new ones. And he was like, and this is where one of those strings were drawn between the two unrelated. He said, I noticed your education background, and so I figured you'd be the perfect fit, even more so than an accounting background, to help me with my courses. So that was kind of like that string was drawn as to why I didn't waste 4 years learning an education when I could have gone for accounting. So then I became curriculum manager. I worked for bookkeepers.com for about 7 years.
Okay, I'm
And
sorry. I
then
need to interrupt you there, and I'm sorry I keep interrupting. But I wanna ask you. You kept on with your business, or you just
yeah,
dropped it? Oh, you
yep.
kept it on.
So I actually still have my bookkeeping business
Okay, perfect.
too. Yeah. I did scale it back a little bit so that I could focus more on being curriculum manager. And then as I grew it again, so I scaled back, got rid of the time vampire clients, the clients that I dreaded working for, just kind of cleaned up my client list a little bit. And then as I scaled, the next time I scaled with a team. So I hired my mom. I plugged her in the daily stuff so that I could just do like the management, because I found out I loved the admin side of my business. I
Okay.
loved, talking to the clients. I loved doing the consultations. I really liked making the plans for marketing and for growth. And then I didn't really like the day-to-day bookkeeping stuff.
Okay.
So I plugged her into that. It's been a great fit. She actually still works for me. And that's just kind of been my priority, growing my business back. Now we're back and beyond what I was when I first started as curriculum manager. But it's been definitely slower growth than most people would probably have. But it's been my journey and I've loved it. And it worked for me.
Right. Perfect. Perfect. But hold on. And what happened? Because now I see that you have a sign there that it says Keepful. And when did you become the owner at Keepful? Tell me that part of the story.
So, about 3 years ago, when I was working as curriculum manager, we had started this arm at Bookkeepers that was marketing automation, because there's a lot of bookkeepers who are really good in the details and they're really good with the bookkeeping, but marketing is not their strong suit or not something that they really enjoy. I'm one of the oddballs. I enjoy it. Not everybody does. So we started seeing that need and we wanted to fill it. But as we were developing this platform, this software for marketing automation, we didn't really have anybody internally to head up the team and to champion that part of the product. So I was voluntold. I was one of the only ones on the team at that time that had been using it in my own business. So I actually kind of knew what it was like from the inside out. And so I kind of took ownership of it. I grew it. It was really my baby at that point. So for the last 3 years, it's been my project. It got to where I was promoted to chief subscription officer, but really as part of my position, it was mostly Keepful. I did a few other things on the team, but it was primarily I was just in charge of Keepful and customer satisfaction, making sure it was growing, making sure we were meeting needs, that kind of thing. So just earlier this year, a really good friend of mine, we were having a conversation and he challenged me. He's like, why don't you just try to buy Keepful? I was like, Ben is never going to go for that. But I was like, might as well try and ask, see. And so I first approached him. The answer was no. And then he thought about it for a little while. And then we started negotiating. He was like, make me an offer. I can't resist. And we'll talk about it. And so now here we are. And in April of this year, 2025, I purchased it from him. So now I own Keepful. I no longer work for bookkeepers.com. That was a bittersweet day. But we're still really close. Jaime and I work together on a lot of things, and the team, of course, is amazing over there. So we're still pretty close. But yes, Keepful is now mine. It's my official baby, not just my baby in my projects.
Right. Well, what a great story. What a great story. And the great part of this is that you kind of built it. I mean, you were there just like experiencing in your own firm. Hey, it would be great to have a functionality that helps me to do this. And well, you were able to do it with people. So that's great. It's inspiring. And now you're just to understand, you're like 100% working on Keepful. Well, you told me already you still have your firm. How do you handle all those? And I know you have children and life and everything. How do you handle all that together?
We do a lot of juggling.
Hmm.
We have to give ourselves a lot of grace and just take a day at a time, because if I try to look, I'm definitely the kind of person that likes to get things done ahead of time before deadlines. And sometimes I have to let a little bit of that go and just understand that today what needs to get done will get done, and tomorrow what needs to get done will get done. It's definitely not the way I want to live the rest of my life. But
Hmm.
for this season, it works. We're making it through, and I'm trying to now scale Keepful in a way that I can actually manage without working many hours overtime.
Right, right. Perfect, perfect. But for instance, do you still have, or do you have more clients that are signing not to Keyful, but to your yes, okay.
Yep. Yep. My business is still growing. Well, both of my businesses, but yes, my bookkeeping business is still growing and Keepful is definitely growing.
Well, it's as people say, a happy problem, and yeah, congratulations on that. Something that I don't want to miss. This started with Tyler a few episodes ago, and I don't know if you know, but basically I decided that I want to get into the episode 100, humans in accounting, having a ranking of the best favorite food of all the guests that participated on Humans in Accounting. And we are talking now, so this is me asking you, what's your favorite food?
So I was trying to be prepared for this question, but the problem is I have too many. So we're gonna have to make categories.
No, no, hold on. I'm not sure if I can allow that. I don't know. We cannot have. I know it's a hard one because it's easy just to ask this question and wait for the answer. And I remember someone told me, and Alex, that you asked this question so much. What's your favorite food? And they put me on the spot and they say, "Whoa, hold on, I was not prepared for this." Tell me if you want categories, and we can figure out together like which is the best one for you. Because
So
I
are
need just to put one.
Okay. Then I would probably say pot roast is my favorite go-to food. I love it in the pot with potatoes, carrots, just nice, warm comfort food.
Okay, okay, perfect. But hold on, is it too bad if I don't know exactly what's the name of that? Because I don't know, maybe it's not
Okay.
popular here in Argentina.
So the next time I'm gonna have to bring you pot roast.
I accept. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll tell you
So
right away. I accept.
it's a big old roast. I do mine in the crock pot with like butter and tenderizer, and then you put like the vegetables in with it, and you cook it
Okay,
all together. And so it's all really flavorful, and then the meat is really tender, and it's really good.
great, great. And it goes, you cook it like in the oven, right? Or where?
You can. I do mine in the crock pot where it's just like on the counter, where it's a slow
Okay,
cooker.
okay.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, I definitely accept. Next time you see me, I'm always happy just to try good food.
I don't. Well, I will probably be the first person to travel with pot roast, but we will try.
Perfect. Yes. So sorry, I had just to ask you that question that I know it has nothing to do with your business, but it's something for myself for humans in accounting. Let's go back to Keepful. I wanna ask you. Maybe you can tell me not since from the moment that you own it, but from all the history of Keepful. Do you think like if I ask you for a milestone or a big achievement or some part that you said, hey, whoa, it's incredible that we got here or that I helped this client doing this, well, what's the first thing that comes to your mind if I ask you this question?
So the most recent one is probably bringing Kelly, my team member, on full time. Today is her first day as a full time employee. She was part time before. And I had some mile metrics that I needed to meet in order to bring her on full time. And so there at Scaling New Heights, I was like, okay, these are the metrics I need. This is what I need before I know for sure that I have enough cushion to bring her on. And I got home and I realized I did not have the bandwidth to take care of all the new members coming in and everything that needed doing. And I was like, you know what? We're just going to jump in. We're just going to jump in. We're going to hire her full time and we're going to believe that God's going to bring the people. We're going to meet our metrics and we're going to be okay. And right after I talked to her and asked her if she'd be willing to come full time, and she agreed. And it was like just 2 hours later, and we had that many number of new members sign up. So that same day that I just decided to jump in and go for it, we met our metrics. We were able to do it. And so yeah, that would probably be the most exhilarating milestone that I've recently met.
It's great that you give me this. I thought you were gonna tell me something else, but it's great. It's inspiring, and again, congratulations that you made the best decision. And today is actually her first day.
Yep. She no
All right.
longer works for bookkeepers.com anymore either. So she's all ours
Okay.
now.
Perfect, perfect. I'm sure you guys have a brilliant future ahead. Maybe in 1 year from now we can have another episode, or not necessarily an episode. You tell me how it was this year. Perfect. Let me ask you. I wanna know, like, yeah. Actually, you have so many things going on. I understand that you're doing many things. What's, from all the things that you do, the thing that you love the most on your daily basis? Well, what's the thing that you enjoy? I found out that it's, again, we work a lot of time of our day, and it's key just to do something that we genuinely love. I'm curious, and I want to ask you, Heidi, what's your, yeah, favorite thing to do?
Well, my favorite part about whether it's my personal life or what I do for work, I love helping people. So when I went to college to be a teacher, I did because I wanted to help people. I wanted to help these kids get the education they need to have a successful life. And so when it was really disheartening when I found out I didn't enjoy the classroom teaching setting. But then when I started my bookkeeping business, I realized I was helping people. I was helping people on a grand scale. I was helping my clients, and they in turn were helping the community that their business was in. I realized that it doesn't just have to be the traditional job roles where you're helping people. You can literally help people in anything that you do. And this is true in Keepful too, because I'm helping these business owners, bookkeepers, accountants who are turning around and helping their clients. And then their clients are helping their teams, they're helping their community, they're helping, like, it's just the ripple effect is incredible. So there's minutes where I get so caught up in, oh, the next thing I got to do, and the next thing I got to do, and the next thing I got to do. And then sometimes I just have to sit back and realize that at the end of the day, I'm actually helping people. And that's the part that keeps me going. That's the part that makes it worth doing for me. Because if it's just, it's incredible to see how far reaching, like we do one little thing to help someone. Maybe someone needs to figure out how to send an email campaign in Keepful, and I can help them. That's the one thing I know how to do. And then they can turn around and use that to help more people and get their solution in front of more people who need it. So I guess that's probably the thing that amazes me and that I enjoy the most about what I do is I'm still helping people.
Yeah, I agree, and that's definitely a feeling. I was gonna say something which I know don't know really if it's true, but definitely, at least for, I'm talking about me. Yeah, the feeling of helping someone else is something that, yeah, it makes you keep on going and happy. At least that happens to me. So yeah, that's great. I want to know, like, how. Um, Sometimes you have, first I'm going to ask you this question, like, do you work with a specific type of firm, of client? Like, what's the ideal client that would be interested in keep?
So we actually have two camps. We have the baby bookkeepers and accountants that are
Yeah.
just wanting to start out. And this is, when people ask me what would I do differently about how I started my business, I would have not spent so much time trying to get ready to like let people know about my solution. So I did not feel ready. And I thought, oh, well, maybe if I get this next certification, or maybe if I get a perfect website that like looks great, then I'll feel ready. I never felt ready. And eventually I just had to jump in. And so our baby bookkeepers and accountants, we at least can help you get the professional presence online. We can help with a professional website. We can help with the professional copy and like making sure that you're set up to look professionally and present yourself professionally in a digital world. So I would say that's one camp, is the baby bookkeepers and accountants, that we help them have that professional presence from day one. And then we have the growing and scaling bookkeepers and accountants that are, they're trying to streamline their team. They're trying to automate as much of their processes as possible so that there's a consistent experience for their clients. Because as we grow, we can get so busy that either client leads fall through the cracks, or they're not handled consistently. Like one lead comes through and we follow up with them every couple days. The next lead comes through and we forget about them for a week and a half. But then Keepful can help those, like when you're at that stage where you can't keep up and things are getting chaotic. It helps bring consistency and automation in. So one, it's taking stuff off your plate. All those manual little things that you have to remember how to do, or you have to remember to do, or you have to go in and do, now they can all be automated. So those would be probably the two camps, the baby ones and then the scaling one.
Okay, okay, perfect. And I was gonna ask you like a follow-up question on that. Like, do you sometimes have like clients that maybe need something like really specific from for them that you know it's a functionality that it's only gonna help them, or maybe you're not even sure if it's gonna help them, and they ask you that, and how do you handle, whenever someone's asking something that you don't really know if that's something that you want to add for everyone, and you should be more. I'm asking that from my personal experience. Sometimes that happens doing software, and yeah, I'm just curious how you handle that, or if that's ever something that happened to you.
Yes, actually, kind of recently, I had one member who gave very specific directions on what they wanted. And I spent like a weekend working on it, which that's always super disheartening when I've spent a weekend working on it. And then it wasn't something that I thought was going to be helpful. Like from my taste, I wasn't proud of it. I was like, this is not something that I would want to use for my clients. And so when I shared it with them and we were walking through it and I was explaining how it all worked and everything, they changed their mind and they were like, I actually don't like this. I'm really sorry, but I don't. And I was like, first of all, I agree. Thank you. But it was kind of disheartening because I was like, I wish that I could have just stopped and asked, like, clarified with them, because and it's now like moving forward, I'm going to, if there's something that I'm building out for someone, I will clarify if it's something that I don't think from my perspective. And this is where I think owning a bookkeeping business and serving bookkeepers and accountants puts me in a unique place where I can think
Absolutely.
about it from the business owner's perspective and be like, I actually don't know if this is going to work properly. But instead of just pushing forward and doing it to what their specifications were, next time I'm going to stop and clarify.
No, absolutely. And at some point also, when you have in the future thousands and millions of clients, and you won't be able just to say yes to everyone, it's just a matter of saying, hey, does this really help the ideal client that I'm picturing, or is this gonna be something like that it's only gonna benefit? I'm still not really sure if it's gonna benefit. So yeah, that's something that can happen, and it's great that you already went through this, and now you know next time how you're gonna react. So I think it's
Yeah.
good that it happened.
A skill that I have to get better at is saying no. I am so bad at saying no. And sometimes in business, you have to be really good at saying no. No to somebody who's not your ideal client, or no to something that does not help you reach your business goals. It can be very hard for me to say no.
Yeah, no, and sometimes just by saying no, you feel like I'm just saying no. I want to be a person who is always says yes, but maybe because you have so many things that you've said yes, then you're not able to accomplish them all, and it turns to be a double-edged weapon. So yeah, that's also something that important that we all have. Or I think that we all can identify with this. Heidi, let me ask you, you already mentioned something, but I'm still going to ask you this question. What's a good advice? Maybe you're going to say something different, or but you already said something, which I agree. But what's a good advice that you can give maybe some other entrepreneurs that are evaluating like starting their own business, whether that's an accounting firm or that's baked or anything at all? What's a good advice that maybe you can give them, or what's a good advice that maybe someone could have given you when you started all this? Um, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Just jump would be one thing, because a lot of times in the accounting industry specifically, we're numbers people. We like to have things figured out. We like to know I am very risk adverse personally. I'm one of usually a late adopter for software. I make sure that I have enough cushion, I'll be okay. But sometimes in business, you just have to jump and you figure it out as you go. Sometimes, and I know Steve Harvey has a whole video on this of like when you jump, you'll get your wings on the way down. And it's been so true for me because I thought, again, back to what I said before, I thought I would feel ready at a certain time. And you can't wait till you feel ready sometimes, or you can't wait till everything is just perfect. Sometimes in business, you just got to go for it. You just got to jump. So that's probably the most advice I'd give someone.
I agree. You mentioned something similar again with different words, and just to comment on what you said, if you just want to be ready, you're gonna always find excuses just to say, "Hey, I'm not ready." Now that I accomplished this, that which I thought it was really important last year or last month, now what I really realize is that I need to be ready with this other thing. And when you accomplish that, you're gonna realize that you're still missing five others. Um,
Well, and usually it's really scary to do the thing that's going to help us reach success. And so we do all these other things that are less scary. But typically, what I have found from my experience, the scary thing is the thing you got to do. And so you're going to find all these, like you said, excuses along the way of like, oh, let me do this one first. Oh, let me do that thing first. We just got to go for the big scary thing. And it usually pays off.
I agree. I agree. Heidi, let me ask you, our listeners in the future, maybe they're listening this on Apple Podcast or on Spotify or YouTube or in our website or somewhere, and they realize that it would be great just to get in touch with you so that you can introduce and maybe do a demo of Keepful. How can they reach out? What's the best way to reach out to you directly?
So email will be the fastest response. We have help@keepful.com. That's an inbox that both me and the team watches. We answer that religiously. Another way on social media, I'm very active on LinkedIn. I'm just my name, Heidi Ryder. LinkedIn is my favorite social media platform. I have Facebook, Instagram. I don't like them. But yeah, LinkedIn is my favorite social media. And then help@keepful.com is the fastest way to get an answer.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, I'm sure that people in the future will be, or at least would be curious to know more about Keepful. Just go ahead and reach out to Heidi. Heidi, it was really nice. I'm really happy that we made this episode together. Yeah, really looking forward just to try that food next time we meet, either in Scaling New Heights next year or in another event. Yeah, thank you so much for participating in Humans in Accounting.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. It was such a joy to chat with you again.
Likewise, likewise. Have a really good day. All right.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.